Good evening and welcome to our second Parent Table Talk for this summer. My name is Kim Sandlin and I serve as the Director of Student Success here on campus. My normal partner in crime that you normally see online with me, Alicia Newell, is on vacation, well-deserved, well-earned vacation. So we are missing her this evening, but we've got two guests joining us tonight that we feel are awesome, and they are very much so experts in their field. So we have a great program lined up for you tonight. So for those of you who may not know who I am, I've been working at Wichita State for about 23 years in a number of different capacities and roles. I was a first generation shocker, did my undergraduate work here, loved every minute of it, and I'm glad that I get the opportunity to be able to help students kind of, learn their journey and help parents help their students learn their journey, right? So we're glad that you're here with us tonight. Our two topics is, our first one is going to be wellness. So we have Marcy from Counseling and Prevention Services here to talk about their services and resources for students. And we have Guy Schroeder from our University Police Department, who is sure to be a great entertainer tonight, talking about campus safety, as we know that lots of parents just have questions, and we're here to kind of lay that all out for you and let you know what is available in regard to safety services and resources on our campus as well. So it's going to be a fun night tonight. So I'm going to pop it on over to Marcy and let her take it away and talk to us a little bit what you can do as parents for wellness and support wellness with your student.
Hello, good evening. So I'm Marcy Young. I'm one of the clinical psychologists at Counseling and Prevention Services. I'm also the Director of Prevention, and really glad to have you here tonight. We're really excited about the beginning of the year, and we know that there's been so much conversation in general, but especially this past year about mental health on college campuses. So we just want to let you know a little bit about what we do and the services that we offer for students. Really, our goal is to engage with our campus and our community through intervention and prevention to promote mental wellness. And we do that in a variety of ways. So the first up is counseling. For any currently enrolled student, we offer individual group therapy or group therapy, actually. So those individual sessions, they're really affordable, but no students are turned away for an inability to pay. We want to work with people. We don't want money to ever be a barrier to seeking treatment. We're really lucky here at Wichita State. We don't have long wait lists, so students are able to get in pretty quickly and get treatment going as needed. Moving into college the first time, or even coming back into college after this past year, there's been a lot of transitions. And with transitions, it can really either help you not be able to engage your coping skills that you were using before, or just need to establish new ones. So for students who are feeling a wide range of things, that's anything from feeling homesick, feeling depressed, having some concerns with anxiety, suicidal ideation, like whatever it is that is happening, we're here to support our students and really help them learn what we hope is the beginning of a lifetime of caring for themselves and their mental health. We offer both. Right now, we're fully doing telehealth, but in the fall, we are going to be offering a hybrid of either telehealth or in-person treatment. So they will have those options. And we also do have group therapy. Something I really love to talk about is group therapy. It's incredibly effective. There's tons of research on that, and I've seen it myself. So if your student is like, I was recommended to have group therapy, like that's generally a really effective way to have treatment. And we have a variety of groups, from just general process groups. We have specific groups for different individuals who may have specific concerns. Like there's a trauma support group, or there is, well, and every year, honestly, we change a little bit. So if you go to our website, you should see a current list. We also offer psychological assessment and medication services. So for psychological assessment, if there's a concern that there may be either an undiagnosed or previously diagnosed learning disability or ADHD, we have services to help students get that assessed so that they can get any support that they need in those areas. We also offer crisis appointments, and those crisis appointments we have those available daily. So if a student is in crisis, we're able to get them in quickly. One thing we always like to talk about is the suicide prevention lifeline, which is 1-800-273-TALK. That is available to anyone, anywhere, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you don't have to be in an acute suicidal crisis to call. You can just call if you really need some assistance. And there's also the crisis text line, which is 741-741. And so students can text instead of having to call if that's more comfortable to them. So we talked a little bit about our counseling services. We also have our prevention services, and our prevention services, we're really dedicated to trying to get people good information and create safety and wellness across our campus and across our community. So there's 4 main areas that we tend to focus on: promoting mental wellness, preventing suicide, preventing sexual violence, and preventing substance abuse. Over and over again, we see that those are the most prevalent concerns on any university campus. So we are excited that we have a lot of different programming in that way, and we have a few different resources that we like to make sure individuals are aware of. One is that if your student is a part of an organization or a class, like frequently we're called in to provide information, give presentations, let them know about resources. So whatever it is that we're being asked to do, we go across campus and provide that information for how to support mental wellness, prevent suicide, prevent substance abuse, or like, is there something where we just need to talk about, this is your first semester in college. How can we transition to college? How can I establish good habits to keep my body, my mind healthy, and provide some extra support? So there's a lot of different things that we do, and online students can use that service. So it used to be that wasn't something we were able to do, and now we are. So online students can in fact use that service. And we are also really excited about our We Support You program. You'll see our shirts across campus, but it's the idea that we want this to be a community of support for not only us supporting our students, but students supporting each other. And one of the things that we offer is our preventing suicide training. And that is free to all students, faculty, staff, as parents or guardians or just loved ones of incoming students. That's available to you as well. Go to suspendersforhope.com and you can just click the training or take the training. And if you use, pardon me, promo code preventing suicide when you're signing up, it'll get you access to that training. We are more than happy to provide resources however we can. And so I know that there's a lot of things that you may be concerned about with sending your loved one to campus. And I'm happy to answer any questions about different ways that we want to support your students. And I think that's a little bit of an overview of what we do in counseling and prevention. And so I'm going to turn the time over to Captain Guy Schroeder from the UPD, who is amazing, and I'm excited to hear what he has to say.
Good evening, all. Interestingly enough, usually when my time comes, I have stress balls to throw out into the crowd. Makes it fun, kind of changes the atmosphere a little bit. Obviously, we all know what kind of work and situation that we're all in across the country right now. We have really good working relationships all across campus. I want to kind of speed through some information for you, just so that if you have questions, we can answer at the end as well. We do have a Facebook page under that, wichita.edu/police. We'd like you to join that Facebook page. We'd like your kids to join that Facebook page. It's important that they understand and know what's available to them should they feel the need for us to help them out. One of the things we like to talk about is our mission and value statement. Several years ago, I come from the Wichita Police Department after almost 34 years. I've been here 8 years now. Obviously, somebody pays me not to go to work, and somebody pays me to come here. I enjoy getting out of bed in the morning. I still enjoy the interaction with the students, with faculty and staff. We have good working relationships across campus. But we talk about enhancing the educational experience in our mission and value statement for our students, providing guidance and support. And I think I can give you some pretty good examples as we go here. We talk about professionalism and integrity. We also talk about personal responsibility and effective collaboration. Part of that personal responsibility goes to the students as well for taking care of themselves. But we have blue lights all across campus, 37 of them to count. They all have 360-degree cameras on them. They have immediate access to our dispatch. One of the things we also talk about is 911 is a great system, but if you dial 911 on your cell phone, it goes downtown to Sedgwick County, and then they have to transfer it out to us, so it delays it. We ask the kids to take their cell phones and put our phone number in as a quick dial, the 978-3450. And we do it on purpose because we have our own dispatch center, and our response times are still less than a minute in the 8 years that I've been here. Feel very fortunate about that. I have had nieces and nephews. I have had sons and daughters through here at Wichita State without any kind of issues at all. I'm going to kind of push through here. There is a Rave Guardian app available to you, and it's free on campus. It's available to the students. They have to sign up in order for you to be able to get on there. We also have a shocker alert system, shockeralerts.edu, that you can use that will talk to you if we have a weather situation or we have situations on campus that you need to be aware of should there be any kind of a problem at all. It's called alert, ALERT, Wichita.edu. To sign up for those texts, students can opt in or opt out. They don't have to be a part of that process. We ask them to consider that because if we have some sort of an incident that's not even on campus, but off the edge of campus, we can let them know that there's something going on and to stay out of that area. We try to be very careful to make sure that they have all the necessary information without obviously impeding anything that might be going on that needs to be handled by the police. I'm genuinely proud to be able to talk about the annual security report. Interestingly enough, if we had a high statistic, unfortunately, it's actually in the Union Center and the Radigan Student Center, where students have a tendency to pick each other's property up and walk away when someone gives them an opportunity. Overall, we have minimal amount of crime on campus. I think a lot of that has to do with us being a 365-day, 24/7 operation, including our own dispatchers, so that we make sure that we can get on calls immediately. We assist the WPD on the surrounding area as well. But overall, most of our work our priority obviously is the campus. We do safety escorts across campus. I always tell the students that just because it's raining isn't a justification for a safety escort. We use those should somebody be concerned at night if they're not comfortable walking across campus, or if we have some sort of a situation where they have a situation with another student and there are issues, they can call us and we'll escort them across campus. We do that on a fairly regular basis, even in the heat and sometimes in the winter as well. We will pick students up when we're making our trips around campus to get them out of the weather also. We're here in what I call a serve and protect model rather than a protect and serve. We jumpstart a lot of cars. In fact, I just bought a whole list of stuff for emergencies, including lithium jump packs that we have available on a regular basis. We ask the kids not to lock their keys in their cars because we can't break into cars anymore. There's a liability that goes with that. Now, that being said, if it's an emergency, small child, animal, hot or cold, whatever the case may be, we still have the tools to be able to get into the vehicle if necessary. We talk a lot to your students very specifically about hiding their stuff, locking their cars, taking their stuff with them, just to make sure that everything is safe. They have to be responsible for some of that too. Just to cover some bases here, we take reports just like any other police department, where the officers are all certified with the state of Kansas, just like a highway patrol trooper is. They go to 14 weeks of training at the Kansas Law Enforcement Training Center in Hutchinson and come back to us for 12 weeks of training. So they're 6 months out of the loop before they even go to work on our campus. They have all the training under their belt before we get started. We want to be careful about making sure that we protect our folks about limited information. Parents, that's always a hard one because your students are 18 years of age. If something were to happen on campus and they were involved in it, they have to tell you about it. You can't call me and ask me to tell you about it unless it's an emergency. If it's an emergency, I'm going to call you and let you know what's going on. We have to be genuinely careful since we fall under federal guidelines as far as releasing any kind of information. But if it's an emergency, we are going to let you know. Our support staff include 24-hour dispatch center, records division. Parking enforcement works out of our building as well. We talked about jump starts. We do some lot reservations. When the kids see cones out in the parking stalls, they need to understand that they stay in the parking stalls for the people that they need them for. Parking is always an interesting conversation. You can go online for e-permits. The easiest way for me to describe parking to you is there is signage in every parking lot on campus. Green is for students. We have green, yellow striped signs for both students, faculty, and staff. We have yellow signs that are very specifically for faculty and staff. And then we have red reserve stalls. Those are the ones you tell them to stay out of. Don't park in those stalls. And if it makes you feel any better as a parent, I paid 12 parking tickets for my daughter before she got her transcript so she could go be a dental hygienist. She's 35 now, and I still haven't figured out why she hasn't paid me back for those. Weapons policy always comes up. 3 years ago, we had a conversation about handguns on campus. They have actually changed the age that will, as of July 1, I believe 18 to 21 or 18 to 20. Originally, it was 21 years of age. Carry concealed on campus is allowed, but it has to be concealed on campus. You have to be a responsible adult to do those kind of things. Somebody always asks me about our defensive items that kids can carry. You can ask those questions. The one that I always particularly talk about are obviously pepper spray. But my daughter had on her keychain something called a kitty poke, which is made out of resin. It's got points on it. And she poked me in places that you're not supposed to poke people with things like that. But I'm pretty sure that it makes a good conversation and it will chase people off should there be any kind of a problem. Again, I go back to the fact that if you are on campus and you are in a building and you use a phone within the campus community, a landline, 911 will call our dispatch number. But I still ask the kids to put that 316-978-3450 in their phone in case it's an emergency. The other option they have are the blue lights, and the blue lights are immediate to our dispatcher. When they push that, the camera comes up there, we see them, and the officers are on their way to that call immediately. I think I've covered the bases. I hope that I have, and I'm ready for any questions you would like to ask.
Yeah, that's great. I think there are a couple of questions, or there might have been one. If you all are tuning in, make sure that you use the chat to put your questions to us. And Marcy, I think there was a question that you wanted to expand on that was asked earlier.
Yeah, it was asked earlier, can online students use this service? And honestly, us offering teletherapy is a new thing. So I need to work on my rap about that a little bit better. But just to let you know, because of ethical and legal limitations, we can only see students who are currently in Kansas for therapy. We cannot do therapy across state lines. And so, online students may be anywhere, and we can only do that therapy if they are in the state of Kansas. And so if you have a student who is outside of Kansas and they need help getting connected to resources where they are, we're happy to help with that. But I just wanted to be really clear about that. I don't want to set anyone up for expectations that we won't be able to follow through on. So
I'm obviously seeing a couple of questions here. We have a 32 police officer department. All 3 shifts are covered. They work on 10-hour shifts, including the chief, the support captain, myself. I have 6 sergeants and usually 3 to 4 officers and the supervisor, depending on scheduling of training, vacations, etc. This time of the year, we're usually have fewer officers on campus because we don't have the kind of activity that we would normally have. Yes, we do have powers of arrest. This is a police department. It's not a security department. The officers actually carry a limited commission with the Sedgwick County Sheriff's Office also, so that should anything take us off campus and there's any kind of an issue, we can take care of the problem there. We assist the WPD on a call on a regular basis also. What is the WSU police doing to ensure the safety of people of color on campus? We do a lot of training on bias-based policing. I like to say we are a genuinely diverse department. Lots of different ethnic backgrounds, all kinds of different folks across campus that we have regular contact with. We talk about any kind of issues that we have, like with housing. We do those on a regular basis. Does the kitty poke keychain guy mention need to be concealed? No, it can hang on your keychain just like anybody else's. I hope I covered that. I'm not sure exactly what you might be asking about people of color. I guess if it makes any difference to you, I've worked in every section of the police department with Wichita Police Department, and I came here under the guise I'd be here 6 months, and I'm here 8 years later. We haven't had a single complaint filed in those years by anybody. In fact, I asked for a survey to be done before we put the cameras on the blue lights because we talked about body cameras on the officers. And because there weren't complaints, we decided that it was more important to protect the entire campus. We still have audio on the officers, so I do have that available to me. I think body cameras are coming. A lot of the problem with body cameras is the cost. And it's not so much the cost of the cameras, it's the storage fees that go with them. It's astronomical, and in a small agency, it makes it hard to fit that into the budget.
I have a question, Guy. Oh, sorry, Marcy, I know you just unmuted.
Go right ahead.
Can you talk about the police presence, like the community presence? Like they walk the campus, they're in their polos and kind of the soft uniform kind of thing, and how that really kind of makes, in my opinion, it makes the officers more approachable and feel less intimidating and kind of scary and stuff. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. We have both dress uniforms, and we have what we call soft uniform, like the shirt I have on now. The officers wear exterior vests like the military does to get the stuff off of their waist. One of the best things I ever saw happen in my career. I've always had to carry the stuff on my belt. I will tell you that when I got here, the credit goes to everybody across campus, we had to change some things. There had to be a culture change, not only within our own house, but there had to be a culture change across campus. We get out of the cars, we walk the buildings, we talk to people, we shake hands, we go to events, we are present, we try to make ourselves present. When I get there, I don't want you to feel like it's an emergency when I walk in the door. I want people to be comfortable with us being able to come and go. I've flipped pancakes over at Shocker Hall. I mean, I got my head painted over at one of the grand openings of one of the new buildings. I mean, I want you to see the human being before you see the guy in the uniform. That doesn't mean that the guy in uniform is not important and that we have to have them. The fact of the matter is we need to be a part of the campus and not the security on campus. We're not a separate entity. We work with all of the entities all across campus no matter what the circumstances are, good, bad, in between. We make ourselves available day and night, depending on what the circumstances are for whoever needs us. I'm on call 24/7. I have another captain on call 24/7. We have all 3 shifts covered with supervisors and officers. Third shift is kind of the long one. It's the 9 o'clock at night till 7 o'clock in the morning. More of what I would call an asset management process where we walk in the buildings, checking doors, locks, etc. We don't have as many calls on third as we do on first and second. But events are hugely important to all of us. And I think our being there isn't because it's a necessary thing. It's because we want to be all part of the campus.
Yeah. I think you guys do a really great job. I know we have a big event, Clash, and your officers are there and they're in there dancing with the students and all of that. And they have a really great presence and very friendly from what I have experienced, both as a student and a staff member. So we'll pop it over to Marcy. I know there's a number of conversation kind of starters there for you. So we'll let you take that over.
Sure. So the first question is, what if my student already sees a different mental health provider? And my answer to that is awesome. So we are not interested in being in competition with other mental health providers. If your student is seeing somebody and they are comfortable with them and they feel like this is a good match, we are happy to support them continuing to see that provider. If they feel like they want to come see us on campus instead of seeing that other provider, we're welcome to have that conversation as well. We don't recommend that anyone is seeing 2 individual therapists at the same time for the same concerns. Ethically and just for treatment purposes, that tends not to be very helpful. But we are happy to transfer students to our services if that's what they would like to do. But we also recognize therapy is a very personal thing. And you have to have a good fit with your therapist. And so, if they come here and this is something else that's important to know. If you come and you meet with a therapist here and you're like, this isn't the right fit, you can actually see a different therapist in our center. Don't just have them go away. Just let's find the right fit. There's a lot of different ways to do therapy and there's a lot of effective ways to do therapy. And again, there's just a lot of different personalities. So, let's see. The next question was, does CAPS offer drop-in counseling? So we do offer some different drop-in groups across campus with different campus organizations. But for the most part, if you want a therapy appointment, it really is best to call ahead and make an appointment. Generally, we're a couple of days out from being able to get somebody in to have a full intake, make sure they get the paperwork, and really get them started in treatment as opposed to just kind of triaging people, unless it's a crisis, in which case we're happy to do that. But you would like to call and make an appointment for therapy for the most part. And that includes groups. We like to do a very short group screen before you join group, just to make sure that that group is the right fit for you and making sure that we are getting you to the right place. So, how do I know if my student would benefit from counseling? Okay, so my incredibly biased answer is everyone could benefit from counseling at some point. Okay. But what I would say is if your student is feeling like they're struggling with adjustment, they're struggling with motivation, they're struggling with making friends, they're struggling with figuring out their place in the university. If you feel like your student could use some space to process, to have extra support, have extra coping tools, and even just to help connect them to other organizations and other supports on campus. But generally, we are not concerned about somebody walking through our door and saying, "Oh, you don't need therapy." We're concerned about people waiting too long to get in. When students are struggling, if we can start working with them sooner, we can generally help them a lot quicker, as opposed to when those habits or those concerns have been happening for a very long time. We're absolutely still able to help those students. It just will take longer to see the gains that they would want to see. So please don't feel like somebody has to be really, really struggling before they come and see us. Let's see. The next question, if my student needs counseling, does that mean I'm a bad parent? That question hurts me. That hurts my heart because I think that, generally as human beings, we're all trying our best. We're trying our best. And as parents, we generally try our best. So no matter what we do, we cannot be all things and everyone to our children. So please understand that if your child wants counseling or could really benefit from that, it doesn't mean you've done something wrong or haven't given them enough. It just means that right now they could benefit from extra support. So please, I'm a therapist, so I never tell people what to feel, but don't feel that.
Marcy, can I jump in here?
Please, yeah.
I think sometimes students who've not had counseling before and may be thinking, I'm not sure, do I need it, do I not need it? There are a couple of things that maybe you might want to mention, maybe, I don't know. But to me, I think there are a couple of things that are really helpful. One, there's the free mental health screening on your website, and that can sometimes answer that question. Or if you think you may need counseling or your student may need counseling, that just might kind of help, reinforce, yeah, I'm going to call and set something up. Bless you. And the other thing is you do all have some keep calm and breathe online and just some really low barrier of entry kind of into the counseling world that's a low risk. Uh-huh. And so I don't know if those are good ideas or if you want to talk about those, but I think those are some things that might help get people introduced maybe.
Absolutely. And thank you for bringing those things up. So if you go to our website at wichita.edu/CAPS, so it'll say take a mental health screening, and anyone can go there. It doesn't have to just be a student, but there are several different screens for common mental health concerns. And the screens, they don't diagnose you. What they do is they say, the way you're answering is consistent with somebody who maybe has depression. Like maybe you should look into some resources. Or it's looking like your answers are consistent with somebody who may have some trauma concerns, maybe some PTSD concerns. And so basically it's something where you get that answer. It's confidential. I do not see who takes those. But if you're having some of those questions, there's even a general wellness, just kind of where are you at overall psychologically? it does not cover everything, but it covers several of the most common concerns. And then after that, you get to decide what to do. But if you're having that question, it can be a really good place to start, or to direct your student to. And for our social media, we try to keep that pretty interactive. And again, with that value of just trying to get education and coping tools and resources out to our community as much as possible. So every Wednesday we have something called Keep Calm. So instead of, it used to be Keep Calm, Breathe On, but now it's Keep Calm, Breathe Online, because we do that live stream on Facebook. And every week that's about 20 minutes of just relaxation, meditation, mindfulness, different coping tools that, quite frankly, anyone could benefit from on a daily basis. Like I know there are definitely days I forget to do it. So, but those are a few things that, and if you follow our social media, we try to put different resources, some different warning signs. If maybe somebody you're concerned about may be struggling, what that might look like in somebody else. So definitely follow our social media.
Yeah, you guys have a really strong and active social media. Well, at least on Twitter, because that's all I can handle at my age. Like, I can't do the multiple platforms any longer. So Twitter is my go-to because I think it limits, the characters. So it's short and quick, and you all have done a really good job. I think, posting tidbits of, like you say, signs, and how people might be able to help each other and reach out to each other.
Yeah, because honestly, our idea of we support you, like that's not just if you're on campus. Like if you are part of our Shocker family now, let us support you. So
absolutely, that's awesome. Can I flip back over to Guy? Can you talk a little bit more about the Rave Guardian app in the it's specifically about the, I don't know, is it called the Halo? Or so you know what I'm talking about? I'm assuming you know what I'm talking about.
Yes. The Rave Guardian app itself has safety timers on it, and the police department can be used as the default. So let's say that you decide you're going from one building to another on campus. The normal time to walk from that building from one to the other is 10 minutes. If 10 minutes passes and you haven't checked in, then it's going to check on you and it'll immediately call us. We obviously know where you were at and where you were going because you're a part of that app process, and we can come find you. A lot of times we find kids who just forget to sign off or let them know that they're there. You can also use the Guardian for other people. Say a friend of yours wants to be your guardian, and then your guardian can call us if there's some sort of a problem. That's why we're very clear about making sure that we want to be a part of that process. We want to help in case there's an issue of any sort, whatever it might be. This is a fast way to do it, and it can be connected directly to the police department. Now, Kim, you were talking about Twitter, and I'm not the expert on the Rave. Captain Hurl is. He does it all the time. It's all a part of the Shocker alerts process as well. So let's say, for the sake of using an example, we have a tornado coming. We can tell the kids that. They can tell you that, or they can allow you to be a part of their app process, and you'll see those as well. If we have some sort of an incident around campus or on campus, we can notify you of that. I'll be the last guy to say that that things can't happen. I want to know. I want to feel like that nothing bad can happen, but things happen. And there are times when we have to take care of business and everybody needs to know what's going on. And we put out as much information as we can, as fast as we can, but making sure that it's factual information. So we're not putting out something that's isn't fact-based. So sometimes it takes a little longer and it causes some grief. People sometimes aren't real happy about that particular process, but we want to get it right. Don't want to put out bad information. I'm looking at a question here. Does the PD provide sexual assault prevention training to students? Does the PD have victim support services available if an incident occurs on campus? We have CAPS to back us up, as a matter of fact, and we would use them all the time under those circumstances. We do have a program that's called RAD, Rape Aggression Defense class, that unfortunately because of COVID has been kind of put to the wayside. We actually have what's called a red man suit, which are the ones that you climb in that have the and it's more specifically directed at women, but we have men in those classes as well. It's very short. I think it's like a 4-hour block. We do that is available. It's been kind of on the back burner because of the way things have been across campus and because we haven't had a lot of people on campus. But yes, we do have that specific class. We also work with athletics on a regular basis on any kind of training like that as well. We don't push it because unfortunately what happens to us is lots of people sign up and then only one or two will show up when the time comes. I'm not sure why. We do what used to be called an active shooter. Now it's called an active threat class for faculty, staff, students, all across campus. It's available through HR. We do that class on a regular basis as well. We are investing and have invested in some airsoft type equipment, and we're working on policies now to see about trying to do some scenario-based type training for folks that want to do that as well. Rave has been, and I'm obviously on the Rave app myself. Rave has been a really good part of the process for anything that's going on campus that everybody needs to know about right away. I just ask that you be patient with us because you're going to hear things, and oftentimes you may hear it before we hear it because of the social media process and phone calls. It's boom, boom, the contact that goes on now. There are times when I want to be able to call somebody and give them the information. Somebody's already made that call before I can even get there or take care of the business. All I will tell you is what I have always told faculty, staff, students as well. If we're running in, run out and keep running. Don't stay there. And it's not, and I don't say that out of fun. I just say it because I'm the fool that runs in. I'm like the fire guy running into the house on fire. That's what we do. If I'm walking in like I'm going to lunch over at the RSC, I don't want you to feel uncomfortable. But I am asking you to turn around and run if I'm running in. If we're running in, then I'd prefer you go the other direction. Let me take care of business there, and then you can find all about it. We'll put the information out as quick as we can to folks.
Yeah, that's helpful. Thank you. Another great feature for any parents that might be out of state in the Rave app is there is a listing of all of the tornado shelters. And we talk about this often with parents, especially out-of-staters who are, a lot of parents ask about how many tornadoes do you have, and yes, they drill them in Sugar Hall and the Flats and the Suites. They have tornado drills so the students know where to go and what to do. So if your student's living on campus, they're covered there. And then every single building has a designated spot for any dangerous weather and tornadoes, and those Rave alerts come to your phone. You will see classrooms. We have a statewide drill that we do, and we participate, and the classes go where they're supposed to go, and the faculty and staff go where they're supposed to go. And so we have that down in Kansas. We're pretty good at that, getting into shelters. So fear not, but those the list of where all those places are to go is included also in that app, which is really kind of a cool feature. The other thing I wanted to talk about, and I know that Alicia would want me to, because I know she would, is make sure, this is just your reminder, if you've joined us before, you've probably heard this, make sure that you are the emergency contact for your student. The care team, which many of you may be already familiar with, is a campus-wide effort to rally around students who may need extra help. And Part of that is notifying parents in case of an emergency. And so in order for us to make sure that we're giving you what you expect and what you want, your students need to put your information down and update that if it changes from semester to semester. So make sure that they're putting us down. If you have questions about where to do that, typically they can do it from their MyWSU or their student portal. But if you have issues or they're not sure where to go, they can go to One Stop, and the One Stop folks will be able to help them enter that information or update it or whatever they need to do. But make sure that if you want to be contacted in case of an emergency, that is done. So thanks for putting the One Stop address there. And then one thing I also wanted to follow up on from the sexual assault training and prevention side is that if you are a parent of a brand new student, we will be sending your student information at their @Shockers email account, which you've also heard us say before, they must check daily. So they will actually be required to complete a sexual assault prevention training program. And that is just a kind of a unique program that we've got. It's an online kind of thing, but that'll be sent to them later this summer. So if you're a parent of a new student, you make sure that you're, checking that off your checklist. Marcy, did you want to add to that a little bit?
So actually this year's a little bit unique. We're requiring all students to take it this year. Because it hasn't always been completed by all the students in the past. So all students are going to take it this year. And then the following years, it'll be just new incoming students. But we really want to make sure that information is out there. So
thank you for that. Every year we have a little something that changes a little bit. Everything's a little bit different. So it's a new program that we're rolling out. So we're excited to see it. Faculty and staff will also be completing this training as well. So lots of education going on in that realm. So
Kim, one thing I might mention is because we have access and the availability of sanctions on campus, we try very, very hard to be a part of the educational process for our students. Sometimes they make mistakes, and I'll use minor in possession of alcohol as a prime example. It seems to pop up in housing on a regular basis. Marijuana is one of those things. Yes, it's legal in Colorado, but it's not legal in Kansas. And we'll get those calls of the smell of marijuana in the hallway. And oftentimes, even when we have contact with the students, they admit that they've been involved in something they shouldn't be involved in. I have access to the district attorney's office to be able to have a conversation, to be able to come back here and be able to do things with code of conduct so that we can keep them out of the criminal justice system. I like that. That's something I couldn't do with the Wichita Police Department. I can do that here. We can have that conversation. We can take it up with code of conduct and have sanctions rather than have them be a part of the criminal justice system. And I like that. Besides, most cops are the orneriest kids you'll ever meet. So if I can keep them from having a record, then I can hire them. And I'm recruiting all the time, folks. Just saying.
Great. One quick clarification I also wanted to make. We didn't talk about victim support services available too much. So going back to that sexual assault training and prevention, between the care team and our friends at CAPS and our friends in Title IX, that support is available and is, we want to be able to provide that support. We've got 3 areas and probably more that all kind of work together to make sure the student is getting the right support from the right place at the right time, with the right information. So we definitely have those victim support services available as well. So wanted to put that in there. So, all right, we just have a few minutes left. I think we've addressed our discussion questions and topics that we wanted to today. So I'll keep talking for just a little bit longer in case you have last minute questions that you want to pop in the chat. We'd love to be able to address those live here. But I wanted to talk about I just saw, sorry, Em is awesome behind the scenes, and she's running the tickers and the websites and everything. And she's got some stuff about the family newsletter and for future parent table talks. So lots coming up. This is our second one. I think we might have 4 more on all kinds of different topics that we try to spread out throughout the summer. There's a lot to take in. And sometimes orientation programs, including virtual orientation or a new student kickoff day, can kind of be a little overwhelming, sometimes not, but a lot of our parents put in the chat, oh, I'm overwhelmed, but this is great stuff. So we try to chunk that out and divide it across a number of weeks so that you have some time to process all of that. So we have topics coming up. We have a faculty panel coming up. We've got a table talk around finances. So once the bill comes, those bills, this is another very popular question. So I'll just jump on this real quick. Those bills aren't posted. Tuition fees and everything isn't posted until, give us until the July 4th holiday. And then after that, your students can start signing into their portal and check that. And we'll have a whole table talk just about that. Unfortunately, we have not heard yet whether, our tuition and fees that we went in to the Kansas Board of Regents has been accepted or not. So it's not that we don't want to tell you, it's just that we don't have the information to give you right now. And so that's why we kind of spread them out and schedule them when that information comes available to you all as families and students. So the last thing I wanted to do was say that if you want to sign up for future parent table talks, those that sign up in advance are entered into some fun drawings that we're going to have throughout the summer. So make sure you sign up in advance so we have your information. Usually we can draw the line between the parent and the student. So make sure you get signed up in advance. We'll also send you the links and everything and reminders and all kinds of good stuff like that. Don't forget to sign up for the parent newsletter. If you go to wichita.edu/family newsletter right there. You can sign up to get that information. It's very much patterned like we try to do these table talks. So we try to give you some conversation starters monthly throughout the entire academic year. And those have really turned out to be really, really helpful for our families, talking about topics of the moment that hopefully you all are talking around your own table about with your students. So I want to thank Marcy and I want to thank Guy for being here, experts from their areas and sharing information. Is there anything else that you all want to add before we wrap up for the evening?
I will tell you that my wife is a WSU grad. My daughter is a dental hygienist and a WSU grad. My son is a K-State grad. That being said, I am still a student at Wichita State at 62 years old. I intend to get my degree before I leave this place. I can't think of a better place to be than being a shocker.
And I just want to say, I've been at Wichita State for 3 years now, and I'm so impressed. I've been impressed since I got here. Not only how much we are all working towards the goal of creating a good environment for our students, but how much we're all willing to work with each other. So, there's a lot of different services and supports on campus, and we're going to work really hard to make this a good experience for the students the best we can. So if there's something that your student needs, there's resources on campus for it.
Yep. And I think, that brings us to a close. We love what we do. We hope that comes across in these programs. And we love supporting our families, our students, and everyone in our Shocker community. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. Have a great evening. And hopefully we'll see you in a future session. Thanks, everybody.